هذا الماء. خلاص نبدأ صاحبي.
نبدأ. شخص واحد بس.
اثنين. يلا.
هذا منين؟
بس نبدأ بحول صاحبي.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام، كيف الحال؟
الحمد لله.
حياكم الله.
Allah Afik, Doctor. Thank you for joining us today. This is our year-end investor engagement for Oman Chlorine. And we're supposed to start at 2, so we'll start the presentation. Then at the end of the presentation, we'll open the floor for Q&A. So this is our agenda of today. Normally we have a standard agenda. We'll give an overview about Oman Chlorine, then major shareholders. Then we'll talk about our products. Then we'll go through our subsidiaries, both in UAE and Qatar. Then we'll look into the financial performance for 2023. And also we'll look back into financial performance historically. Then at the end of the presentation, we'll open the floor for Q&A. So Oman Chlorine, we started in '97 as the first Omani manufacturer of chloralkali with capacity of 100,000 metric ton of all the major products. In 2007, 2008, we awarded His Majesty Cup for the best 5 factories in Oman. Then in 2021, we decided to do an expansion for the main plant. We increased the capacity to 60 metric ton additionally. Today we are from 45, today we are 75 metric ton of caustic soda. Then at the same time, in August 2022, we add a calcium chloride unit that cater to convert all our hydrochloric acid into calcium chloride. We have very good HSE track record and we are ISO certified. We're producing chemical that goes into energy sector, mainly oil and gas and water treatment sector. Then for the caustic soda, mainly is for the international market. We export it and to use for a raw material for other manufacturers. This is our major shareholder by end of 2023. We have Al-Anwar investment with 22%. We have Bank Muscat 11.06. We have public authorities 9.3. Then we have Oman International Petroleum Energy 9.19. Then we have the Civil Service Employees Pension Fund 8.8. Then Al-Ikhtiyar 5.16. Then Abdullah bin Ali Al-Amri 5%. And those information also available on the MSX. And also Muscat MSDs. With the capacity that we did in 2021, we are producing around 66,500 metric ton of hydrochloric acid, 50 metric ton of caustic soda. Our flaking capacity, which is mainly converting the lye into solid, at the same is 7,200 metric ton. Then calcium chloride with both plants, the old one and the new one, we can produce up to 35,200 metric ton a year. Again, those are the application. Hydrochloric acid, it mainly used in oil and gas for water treatment or stimulation or acid treatment. Calcium chloride is used as one of the drilling fluid product. Mainly, it's used as a drilling salt. Then sodium hypochlorite used in water treatment. Caustic soda used more than half of all the commercial chemistry applications, creating hundreds of secondary components that turn into different plastic and different chemicals. So this is the caustic soda for flakes mainly that we're exporting outside. Next one. Subsidiaries. In 2013, we decided to expand. We decided to build one plant in UAE and one plant in Qatar. Both plants they have the same capacity, 7 metric ton, and producing exactly the same product. And both plants are, reflecting on our financials. And we, as Oman Chlorine, we manage those plants in UAE and Qatar. So in UAE, the plant name is Union Chlorine, located in Musaffah, in industrial area, with capacity of 70 metric ton of nameplate. We're producing HCl, caustic, and flakes. And production for caustic lye 46,000, flakes 15,000 metric ton, hydrochloric acid 57,000, and sodium hypochlorite is 16,000 metric ton. Calcium chloride is 28,000 metric ton. Next. This is the shareholder structure. Oman Chlorine own 59.9. Union Chlorine Holding own 15.1. And Horizon Energy own 25%. So majority is with Oman Chlorine. Gulf Chlorine is the plant, the subsidiaries in Qatar, located in Msaid industrial area. We're producing exactly product that produced in UAE with the same capacity. The only difference there, we have a JV to produce calcium chloride with Qatari partners. Apart from it, everything is produced locally. Only the calcium chloride that we produce it with the JV. This is the structure of Gulf Chlorine. So Gulf Chlorine, Oman Chlorine own 51%. Al Maqab Capital, they own 49%. Then on the JV side, which is the unit that's responsible to produce calcium chloride, Gulf Chlorine, they own 35%, and KLJQ, they own 65%. Financial and future outlook, I will ask our group CFO to present those slides. Bala?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. The financial performance is given here. The net profit for the parent company is at 1.8 million riyals, as against 2.6 million last year. The share capital has increased mainly due to the bonus shares issues of last year. 5% bonus share we issued in 2022 based on financial, and then it was issued in 2023. Currently, this year we are having a board has approved 20% cash dividend subject to approval by the AGM. The share price in Muscat Stock Exchange is around 500 paisa per share. And you can see, Majid, go to the next slide, please. The first slide is the parent company performance standalone basis. The revenue for the current year was 13.2 million Omani Riyal, and we made an EBITDA of 3.3 and net profit of around 1.8 as against last year's 2.6. The increase in revenue is mainly due to increase in volumes by getting chemicals and selling them across. The EBITDA and the net profit has been under stress due to the caustic soda flakes price globally. Next slide. The group performance as against 31.5 in 2022, revenue has increased to 32.1 million. EBITDA is stands at around 9.3 as against 11.1 of last year. And net profit after tax is 2.03 million as against 4.9 million. The revenue increase, as I said, is mainly due to volumes. as regards the net profit for last year, there was an extraordinary income of around 1.4 million riyals in Qatar due to reversal of contract, which is not there this year. So like basis, it's around 3.7 as against 2 million this year. Next. This slide gives you the performance comparison between last year and the last 3 years. As you can see, the revenue has increased to 13.2 as against 12.7 and as against 9.6 in 2021. 2021, we had the expansion, which came into full force in 2022. And coupled with the selling prices, it has get to 12.7 million. The EBITDA has slightly decreased due to the selling caustic soda flake prices, and net profit is also the same. Consolidated financial performance for last 3 years is as below. We have 2023 32.1 million Omani Riyal on the consolidated level as against 31.3 in 2022 and 19.6 in 2021. As you can see, as I informed, the expansion and coupled with the increase in full capacity of production across the subsidiaries, we were able to maintain the revenues at the same levels. The EBITDA has come down mainly due to the caustic flakes price globally coming down a bit. The group is continuously monitoring the oil price fluctuations and chemical prices commodities globally. We are optimistic about the product demand and price realization in the near future, provided the oil and gas activities continue to remain at the same level. Management outlook for the selling prices 2024 remains to be at stable and similar levels, which is expected to give stable returns. Yeah.
So this was the end of the slides, and we'll open the floor for Q&A. Please introduce your name, and then you can ask your question, then we'll try to answer. Yes, Vision Capital. Yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Bishan Bhalla from Vision Capital.
Yes.
Thank you for the presentation and for this call. Just looking at your performance, you've highlighted the reasons for the performance. Now, if I look at your 22 versus 23 performance, the 3 key factors that sort of drove the number from 4.9 to 2 million is, like you explained, the one-off of 1.3 million, which we understand. But beyond that, you had a 1 million riyal interest expense because of increase in interest rates globally, as well as a slight dip in your caustic soda prices. So if I look at your operating profit margin between 22 and 23, that was 21.4% versus 18%. So I'd like to start with that first. How do you see sort of commodity prices? So you think you would be able to match your 23 performance in terms of pricing? You mentioned that, so just wanted to confirm that first.
I'll answer that. As you said, the main reason of dropping on the net profit, if you compare it 2023 by 2022, is exactly the same. First of all is the interest component. The second thing is that one time it's around 1 million riyal from settlement from one of the project. And the third one is the price of caustic soda. Regarding the outlook of the caustic soda price globally, we see it little bit healthy compared to Q3 last year. However, again, it's not only the price, you need to look also into the logistic part, because caustic soda flakes, the product is mainly for the export. With ongoing, situation globally, mainly in the Middle East and Red Sea, there is little bit increase on the freights, and that affecting, the movement of the product within the region. Price-wise, as I said, the price the price that we see today compared to Q3 is it's better. It's much better. However, we need to look also into the freight component, because it's not only the product, it's also the freight.
Okay. And what is your outlook on freight costs?
Excuse me?
So what is your outlook on the freight costs?
The freight is increased due to Red Sea issues. So
Sure. And you see that reverting back as well in, let's say,
if you are exporting, for example, to Europe, you will not be competitive with the European manufacturer, because DDP price will be higher than any other manufacturer in Europe. So the price of flakes is high, but in some market you cannot compete.
Understood. Noted. Fine. That makes sense. And you made an announcement with regards to the 2.7 million real investment for the 75 MTPD flaking plant. If you could just sort of elaborate on that.
Yes, so basically after our expansion, we have now access caustic soda lye. In order for us to have better realization, is we need to convert that into a solid and send it to the export market. Today, if you want to send 1 metric ton, I just give an example. 2 metric ton of caustic soda lye equal to 1 metric ton of caustic soda flakes. So if you have that, it gives you flexibility to realize a better margin compared to lye for the export market. That is the whole idea. The idea is not to have a new product, is not to convert it to solid and export it outside Oman.
Right. And sorry, could you just repeat what value add you have in terms of the pricing for the same current product versus the new finished goods?
Roughly you can get, it depends again, you can get around $50 extra.
Got it. Okay. And what would that be in terms of percentage?
We expected mid of next year, 2025.
Sure. Okay. So the way I look at the business is you have caustic soda prices which are slightly better than last year, but pretty much stable. Freight costs temporarily have increased, but they should sort of edge downwards once the situation stabilizes. You had a one-off from a Qatar project which will not recur. And then you have interest costs, which hopefully by the end of this year, or let's say beginning of next year, start cooling. So you should see some relief over there. So those are the sort of factors organically that should help the business. Is that a correct, fair assumption?
I think that is fair assumption. As you said, one of the subsidiaries, I just give you an example. We paid more than 800,000 Omani Riyal extra on the interest. And if you take that interest component, around 20% from your revenue. What we see today globally, I think the interest rate last year was on the peak, and you start seeing decline. So one of the loan, the interest rate was around 3.5, we end up paying more than 8%.
Right.
But I think by end of 2024, we'll start seeing decline on the interest rate, and that will help the business. Globally, you ask that commodities, chemicals, I think the chemicals start picking up again globally, and hopefully this Red Sea issue will get resolved and things will be normal.
Right. I mean, we also witnessed, your results from the joint venture also being positive for 2023 throughout the year. So that's something you expect to remain within that range on the positive side.
Yes.
Okay. Noted. All right. Yeah, that's it for me for now. If there's something, I'll come back afterwards. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else want to ask any question?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Sorry, yeah. Since no one asked, I noticed the dividend payout of 1.4 million riyal at 20 Baisa, if I'm not mistaken, and 1.8 million riyal last year. Now, how do you perceive dividend payments? Is it a function of free cash flow? Is it a Baisa number you would like to sort of aspire to pay? I understand it's a shareholder decision, but just wanted to understand your thinking as management behind sort of a dividend number.
The 1 million settlement with the contractors?
No. I'll repeat my question. You announced a dividend of 20 Baisa per share for 2023, correct?
Yes.
And that would be equal to 1.4 million riyal. 20 Baisa into 71 million shares, 71.5 million shares is 1.4 million riyals. Now, do you look at that 1.4 million riyal number from a free cash flow perspective, or is that sort of a return that the shareholders target in terms of returns from the company on an annual basis? If you could just give us the thought process behind that number.
And you know better, the decision normally for the dividends, it's a shareholder's decisions. The shareholder will look into the cash flow, availability cash, and decide. At the end of the day, they are investor and they want to maximize their return.
I understand that. Now, if I, building on that question, if I look at your balance sheet, and please correct me if I'm wrong, what your current loan payment is it 5 or 6 million riyal? What's your current? What is your annual loan repayment
In Oman?
overall? Yeah, for the group level, because I'm looking at a group number, right?
No, but I mean, dividends is always considered on the parent companies, not on the consolidation level.
Right. So for your parent
When
specifically,
the board of directors decide to give a dividends, it's a standalone Oman Chlorine. You know,
right. So there's $1 million
you know
riyal.
the regulation on the CMA. So it's always the practices from the parent company, not for the consolidations.
No, of course I understand. So effectively, that way, if I break it down, we're looking at a 1 million riyal payment of loan repayment every year. That's what I see in your balance sheet. 1 million riyal is your current loan payment.
Yes.
Against that, we have another. If I look at your finance cost in the parent is barely anything. It's 320,000 riyal, whereas in the group level, it's almost 3.8 million riyal, which was 2.8 million riyal a year before. So I was just trying to figure that part out. I understand it all happens at the parent level, but I was just trying to see sort of what cash flows you can make as a group to sort of arrive at that number. But it's okay. I understand your answer. It's all right. Okay. Thank you, Shina.
I answer that question. Our balance loan in Oman, I think, is around 5 million riyal. We already paid, I think, more than 1 million riyal, and it's a quarterly, and the interest rate is quite competitive. It's one of the lowest rates. So the free cash flow, it helps us to meet the decision of the shareholder of paying the 20 Baisa per
So
share.
is there a potential down the line, if that loan is fully repaid, to sort of increase the dividend payout since it's based on free cash flow?
No, I don't think so. Because again, the full year projected cash flow, and this is very important. Again, all the numbers are
Understood.
projected for next year.
Sure. And this 2.7 million riyal expansion is from internal accruals?
No, it's a loan also.
Okay. And the terms would be similar to your existing loan. It would obviously be at a higher cost, right? But given the current interest rates.
It's a better loan, I can say, compared to the other one. And also we are exploring other options with one of the development bank, to see if you can get that through the bank. The paper already in place. Okay. Once we have the result, we'll announce it into the market.
Understood. So the upside effectively in terms of your operations comes from a better sort of margin product and a higher value added product. So you effectively sell a higher dollar value and you realize a better realization, you get a better realization price from that. That's where effectively that's the aspiration for 25, 26, correct?
Yes. So strategically having a flakes, it allows you to have what I can say, an extended reach to different countries. Because as I said, shipping, just I give an example, you want to ship 1 metric ton of lye 2 metric ton of lye equal to 1 metric ton of flake. So you're saving 50% of the freight charge by doing that.
Correct. No, understood. You explained that well. I understand that. Right. Okay. Sure. And in terms of any other markets you're actively looking at where you see there's a high potential in terms of pricing or in terms of sort of realization, if you could just comment on that.
European market always they have a higher realization. Today we export to European market, different area. We meet different standard. They have special standard like different certifications. We also look into we continue to supply to African market, East, North Africa, Middle East, and we look into the today Asian market because I think the Chinese or the Asian manufacturer they are operating cost is higher, so they give us an advantage on that. So compare cost wise, I think we are competitive.
Understood. Because I noticed that your overseas sales from the parent company peaked in 2020. It was almost 3 times the value of 2021, and then there was a drop in 2023. So I was just trying to understand sort of what the strategy there is. There was a 20% drop in overall revenue between 23 and 22.
For the export market, there's no long. I'll explain this. For the export market, we don't have long-term contract. We look into the index, and normally the index is updated on the weekly basis. So it's an RFQ base, and we try to get the best market that give us a better return or better margin.
Understood. And for Oman local market, what is the typical contract length or the duration of contract?
Yeah, in Oman we have different contract duration. We have 2 years, we have 1 year, we have 3 years, we have 5 years.
Okay. And sort of if you could just elaborate on sort of the longer term contracts, is there a revision clause or effectively if you've locked them in during higher realization durations, they are binding?
No. Normally for those contracts there's an offtake contract price. Is not linked, is not locked with volume, and always the local market in terms of commodities, the price is better compared to export. However, again, the market in Oman is very small. You cannot compare it with other part of the world. So the activities, for example, for the caustic, it's only 30% of our product goes into the local market. The rest we need to send it outside. We need to export for outside.
Right. So when you talk of sort of 1, 2, 3 or 5 year contract, it's effectively the capacity that you're sort of guaranteeing, not the price, because the price would vary. That's what you're trying to.
No. The price is fixed, and they don't give you quantities. They give it. It's a projected.
Okay.
It's a projection quantities, but the price is fixed. And when we look into the price, when we price it, we look into the historical prices and we look into the future outlook. So normally the price of the long-term contract price is always higher because you need to take the factor of fluctuation. The client always understands that. If he asks a price today, he cannot say why you're selling at today price. So say because I project the price for 5 years.
Understood. And then what would be sort of the factors from your perspective that would lead to higher caustic realization prices?
What do you mean?
What would drive realization prices higher in your opinion?
Demand,
and sort of that you again see China as a key driver for that, or it's not so dependent.
Caustic soda price, if you have the axis of the index, you see it's like a sine wave. You know sine wave?
Yes, absolutely. Up and down.
It's exactly sine wave. So if you take 5 years historically, it's a sine wave. If you look in 2023, 2022, it was the highest price for more than 10 years. I'll just give an example. The price of caustic in some of the region, it crossed $1,050 X. Compare in 2021, 2022, it was around $280. So again, supply and demand, and also the energy cost, because in this type of business, what drives it is the energy cost. 70% of your variable cost is power. Today, if you look into Europe, the energy cost is fluctuating. So when the energy cost is higher, a lot of manufacturers, they shut down because they cannot afford it.
And when you say, sorry, energy cost, that you're talking of oil prices, is that a component of the energy cost along with?
Everything goes into the oil price. If the oil price is going high, it means that the activity is high, and some of the other manufacturers, they cannot produce because the energy cost will be higher.
Which would be a competitive advantage for Oman Chlorine, given that you have stable oil prices compared to others who would have to import at higher prices?
If the oil price is high, then it's a good business. If it's like,
Right.
yeah, because again, you need to look into the energy costs. Chloralkali,
Understood.
70% of the variable cost is power. That is the standard. In Oman, alhamdulillah, we have fixed tariff. The tariff are there. I mean, there's small one base increase. But in the other region, it's depending on the energy, especially in Europe.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And I remember on the call last year, you had mentioned that, your products have a wide range of application in different industries. So that's something that gives the company a lot of comfort. Now, any of these other sort of non-conventional sectors you see where you could achieve better realization prices going forward?
I think the caustic soda flakes. Caustic soda flakes realization, it takes the historically average, it gives you better realization because of the high demand. Today, caustic, as I said, it goes into more than 2,000 as a raw material. For example, aluminum refineries, electrical car. I'll just give an example. Plastic, detergent, all of those are really has high demand. Plastic, PVCs. So the growth of alumina sector, it lead to increase on the caustic soda price. If you look into the index, they don't talk about caustic soda alone, they talk about the other manufacturer that goes with it.
Got it. And in terms of last question, in terms of your raw materials, what sort of fluctuations do you see on that side?
Raw material, salt, but salt compared to 2022, end of 2022 and 23, there's a decline. Again, it was the commodities. In 2022 and 2023, half of it was the peak of commodity, including the salt. Plus, if you remember, in 2022 and beginning of 2023, there was a freight charge, the logistic issues. So the commodities, the price of salt was low, but however, the freight was higher. But what we're getting today is, I think, more than 35% reduction compared to last year, compared to the last shipment of salt. In terms of other costs is power. There was an increase on water per meter cube. I think the rate today is 1 riyal 350. There's yearly increase on gas, which is 3%. And there was one-time increase on tariff by 1 paisa. And I think the total impact is around 80,000 riyal extra on us as a cost. And this is between power, water, and gas.
Right. Got it. Okay. Fine. So just to summarize, you have seen some improvement in shipment charges by almost 30%, and there has been a one-time impact of 80,000 riyal on your input cost for power, water, and gas.
Yes,
which will continue. That 80,000 riyal will continue.
Go ahead.
That 80,000 riyal cost will recur because that's the new tariff.
Yeah. So that's around 80,000 riyal is 3 items. Every year there is a 3% increase on gas. There was an increase on water. It's reached to 1 riyal 350 paisa, and there is an increase on power, 1 paisa. And as I said, one of the major costs is the power. So if you take those three elements, the total impact is 80,000 riyal.
And what would the impact be of the drop in freight charges, which have improved by 30%?
But that's one time off, because again, when you buy salt, is one time. So when I want to buy next salt, I'll get a new rate. I don't know the rate.
And how long?
Down.
And how long does that last generally?
6 months.
Okay. 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 So okay, fine. All right. All right. Thank you so much for this conversation. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. So we'll give it 5 minutes, then we'll end the presentation. Thank you for joining us today, and hope we'll see you next time, inshallah. Thank you very much.